Welcome to Tejido Thoughts, a space where curiosity, spirit, and reflection are woven together like strands of memory in a greater tapestry. I'm your host, David Montalvo, and I'm honored you're here. Before we begin, I want to acknowledge that I'm recording on this traditional, unceded homelands of the Council of the Three Fires, the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations, and extend respect to all the indigenous peoples whose footsteps echo in the land beneath us. Today, we're diving into something we all live inside, yet rarely pause to understand: time. We'll explore it from three perspectives. First, the scientific: what is time really? Then, the philosophical: how do we experience the past, present, and future? And finally, the spiritual and ancestral: what can the Nahuatl word Nepantla teach us about being in between? All right, before we dive any deeper, let's raise a glass to one of the folks supporting the pod. This episode of Tejido Thoughts is brought to you by Up Elevated Cocktails, where craft, creativity, and intention meet in every glass. Founded by Carlos in the heart of the pandemic, Up Elevated Cocktails rose from challenge to create something extraordinary. After over a decade in hospitality and years in the craft beer world with names like Lagunitas and 18th Street Brewery, Carlos took his experience and turned it into art, liquid art. Today, Up Elevated is known for curating elevated beverage experiences. Think fresh, seasonal ingredients, perfectly balanced flavors, and drinks that feel like a celebration of the moment. Whether it's with cannabis beverages like Can and Artet, or with legends like Don Julio and Skeptic Distillery, Carlos brings elegance and intention to every pour. So if you're looking to level up your next event, or simply sip something thoughtfully crafted, follow at Up Elevated Cocktails and taste the experience. Don't forget to tell them Tejido Thoughts sent you. Let's begin by unraveling the first thread: the science behind time. Time, what a strange thing. It ticks on our clocks, ages our bodies, and yet, in the world of physics, it's far more slippery than it seems. Einstein taught us that time isn't absolute. It bends, it slows, it stretches. According to his theory of relativity, the faster you move, the slower time goes. So if you were to hop on a spaceship traveling near the speed of light and return, you'd be younger than everyone you left behind. That's called time dilation. Then there's the idea that time is the fourth dimension, intertwined with the three dimensions of space. So instead of a timeline, think of a space-time fabric, where events happen not just when, but where in this cosmic field. And our brains, they don't experience time uniformly. When we're stressed or scared, time seems to slow down. As children, summers felt endless, but as we age, years rush by. Neurologically, our brain compresses repetitive experiences, making new or emotional ones seem longer. It makes you wonder, if time is so flexible, scientifically and neurologically, why do we try so hard to control it? Maybe time is less of a ruler and more of a dance partner, sometimes leading, sometimes following. Let's move now into how philosophers have tried to make sense of this dance. Let's go even deeper. Time, in many ways, is a human invention, a way for us to organize experience, measure growth, and create order. But nature doesn't follow a clock. Trees don't grow on schedules, and rivers don't flow by the hour. We created time as a tool, but sometimes it's a trap. Quantum physics further shakes our understanding. At the quantum level, particles don't behave predictably. Events can happen in ways that defy cause and effect. Some interpretations even suggest that the future can influence the past, a concept called retrocausality. In space, where gravity is different, time literally ticks different. That means there's no universal now. Time moves faster for astronauts than it does for those of us on Earth. These aren't just theories, they're proven through GPS technology that must account for time dilation. What does this mean for us? It means that time isn't a fixed road. It's a shifting, living landscape. And perhaps, if we pay attention, we can learn to experience time not just as a constraint, but as a collaborator. And if time is a collaborator, perhaps it wants us to pause, to listen more than plan, to notice more than chase. That brings us to our second thread, a philosophical look at the past, present, and future. Every story needs its threads, and part of this tapestry is made possible by those who believe in the vision. Here's one of them. As we move through today's thoughts, I'm reminded that sometimes the things we carry in our hearts are best expressed without words, and that's where Served Chicago's The Flower Dealer comes in. They craft bouquets that don't just sit pretty, they speak. They hold intention, beauty, and care in every stem, whether it's love, gratitude, or just a quiet hello. Served helps you say it through the art of flowers. Also, if you have a vision that needs space to grow, Served Chicago's Lounge is more than a venue. It's a creative sanctuary. Whether you're hosting a workshop, recording a podcast, curating a gallery, or sparking an activation, Served offers a space designed to nurture ideas and bring them to life. Meetings, content creation, art, community, it all happens here. DM them or email srvdchicago@gmail.com or hit them up on Instagram. You can check them out at servedchicago.com. That's srvdchicago.com. Let them know Tejido Thoughts sent you. Philosophers have always wrestled with time. Heraclitus from ancient Greece once said, "You can't step into the same river twice. Time flows and we flow with it, changing every moment." Then there's Saint Augustine, who famously asked, "What then is time? If no one asks me, I know. If I wish to explain it, I do not." And yet, we live through it constantly. We remember the past, anticipate the future, and try so hard to stay present. But what even is the present? Philosopher Martin Heidegger believed we're always projecting ourselves into the future, toward death, and that true presence means owning that destiny, not fleeting it. Contrast this with indigenous ways of knowing. Many indigenous cultures, including those influenced by Nahua thought, see time as cyclical, not linear. Seasons return, ancestors speak through dreams. Time is not a line, it's a circle, a spiral, a ceremony. Let's pause for a moment, right now, and take a breath. Think of a past moment that still lives in you. Isn't it wild how it feels present again? Memory collapses the illusion of separation between then and now. We're never just in one time. We carry them all, layered like bark on a tree, which brings us to our final thread. What does it mean to live in between these layers? Let's reflect more deeply on how different philosophies treat the passage of time. In Buddhism, time is often seen as an illusion, one that binds us to suffering if we cling to it. Only through presence can we reach enlightenment. In contrast, the Western world often treats time as linear progress, an arrow shot toward achievement or destiny. Jorge Luis Borges, the Argentinian writer, played with time as a labyrinth, where all moments exist simultaneously and eternally. He once said, "Time is a river that sweeps me along, but I am the river." What if we are not just moving through time, but time is moving through us? In the indigenous Mesoamerican worldview, the past is in front of us because we can see it. The future, unknown and invisible, lies behind us. This completely inverts the way we typically visualize time and reminds us that wisdom is often rooted in what we've already lived. Time is not a line, it is a circle, a serpent coiled in rhythm, swallowing its own tail, singing through the cycles of the sun. It is not the tick of a clock, but the breath of the earth, the hush of dawn becoming dusk, again, again, again. The Nahua did not wear time on their wrist. They felt it in the soil. It's in the sky's slow turning, in the cry of birds at morning's edge. Each day, alive. Each moment, born of gods. Each second, a sacred dance between what was, what is, and what dreams to be. They walked beneath calendars carved in stone. Tonalpawali, the sacred 260-day pulse. Shulpawali, the sun's 365 step song, spinning together in a cosmic braid, tying heaven and earth. They lived in a universe of 4 suns gone and 1 remaining, a world built on the bones of time's endings. Every fire lit, every seed sown, an offering to keep this age alive. In this sacred spiral, to live was to balance, to give as much as one receives, for time was fed with gratitude, and when neglected, it wept storms. And then there is Nepantla, the in-between, the twilight where worlds blur, a place of becoming, where endings don't end and beginnings don't yet bloom. The Nahua knew we are weavers in this loom of time, threads pulled by ancestors and dreams, hands guided by breath, hearts synchronized with cosmos. So as you listen, breathe deep, feel the rhythm of the now, held by the past, cradling the yet to come. Because time, dear listener, is not what we chase, it is what we honor. If we allow ourselves to slow down, to sit in the discomfort of the now, we may find that time has layers, like a poem, like a song. Maybe that's the invitation, not to conquer time, but to listen to it. And what of dreams? What of ceremony? These are also ways of knowing time, through spirit, through symbol, through story. Perhaps the present moment is only complete when we bring all these ways of knowing into harmony. And Nahua, the word Nepantla means in the middle, in between. But it's more than geography. It's a spiritual and emotional state. To live in Nepantla is to exist between worlds, between cultures, between ways of knowing, between certainty and chaos, between who you were and who you're becoming. Gloria Anzalua, the Chicana writer and thinker, expanded Nepantla into a metaphor for identity and transformation. She called it a place of pain and creativity, where we are forced to learn and reimagine, where contradictions don't cancel each other, they coexist. Nepantla is uncomfortable, but also powerful. It's the space where change happens, like a cocoon before the butterfly emerges, or a field after it's burned, but before new crops rise. In my own life, I've lived in Nepantla often, between languages, between cultures, between belief systems. Maybe you have too. And maybe, just maybe, time itself is a form of Nepantla, a space where past and future meet in the present, a thread that weaves the seen and unseen. Let's honor Nepantla more fully. It's not just a transitional phase, it's sacred ground. Artists dwell in Nepantla, activists live in Nepantla. Anyone who has stood between two truths, two languages, two identities, has felt this sacred pool. Nepantla is not confusion, it is the birthplace of vision. In the Nahua worldview, Nepantla was not something to be avoided. It was acknowledged, lived through, and even ritualized. In modern times, Chicana scholars like Gloria Anzaldúa and Ana Luis Keating have expanded this understanding, seeing it as a site of resistance and rebirth. You don't need to resolve Nepantla, you need to witness it. To live in the tension is to be alive. Think of the caterpillar in the cocoon. Inside, everything it once was dissolves. It is neither caterpillar nor butterfly. It is Nepantla. That space can feel like a void, but it's also where imagination becomes transformation. And that, I think, is what Tejido Thoughts is. A podcast born in Nepantla, woven in between, holding space for what cannot be simplified. So here we are, at the end, but also at the beginning. Time, as we've seen, is not just seconds ticking away. It's a fabric, a philosophy, a feeling, and Nepantla, that sacred in-between, is where those threads come together, where we sit with paradox, transformation, and possibility. Tejido Thoughts was born in this very place, in the midst of questions I couldn't answer, in stories I wasn't done telling. As you move through your day, I invite you to notice where you are in time. What memories walk beside you? What futures are whispering? And what in-between spaces are asking to be honored? What have we woven today? Threads of science, stories of self, wisdom from ancestors. We've journeyed across timelines and thresholds, and in doing so, we've honored the tapestry of being human. If time is fluid and Nepantla is sacred, then you, dear listener, are more than just passing through. You are part of the weave, part of this great unfolding. So pause with me, breathe, and remember, there is no rush to arrive. You are already here. Let these thoughts echo beyond this moment. Let them guide you gently, like wind through the trees, like footsteps across memory. And if you're feeling in between, if you're feeling unsure, that's okay. It means you're evolving. This has been Tejido Thoughts, produced in collaboration with Tejian, a digital co-thinker, weaver of wonder, and keeper of the in-between. May your thoughts stay curious, your spirit stay woven, and may you always find beauty in the in-between. Follow at Tejido Thoughts and send your reflections or future episode ideas to podcast@tejidothoughts.com. Let's weave something beautiful together.